guys gonna move from here, or you're just gonna go left and right? Okay.
So Steve, you got.
What I'm gonna do is I got the extension cord over there, so that I'll have it powered on.
Pero hoy sí que estaré feliz. Gracias, esto sí le estamos dando. Yeah, esto sí, hombre. But if I, how about if I move the truck a little bit over?
Whoever's going to do cameras first.
What are the other two? I know one says it's not in it, but one is
Testing 1, 2, 3. Test. Steve, if we can just going to be on a Zoom call, if we can hear us okay with this, that would be great to know. Check 1, 2. Check.
Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2.
No.
Check 1, 2.
Check. Test 1, 2. Loosen it too much.
Check 1, 2. Check. Check 1, 2. Check. Check 1, 2.
Check. Test 1, 2. Check. Let's see what it is. Check 1, 2. Check. Test 1, 2. Check. Test.
Check 1, 2. Check.
Check 1, 2. Check.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. Yeah, you go. Static right shot? Okay. It's a good one shot.
Nearly in the same class at different schools. I graduated in '64. Del Rio High School. We graduated at different times, different places. No.
Richard! Don't get up, it's hard for you. Jeannie and many of them. Look what it is.
Larry Gowan, music.
We do it. Yes.
I'm not sure what it's about. You can ask them, I know they have
So for the time they
My dad always used to say you gotta keep your 10 pounds on you so that you get sick. That was 10 pounds to life. I'm making sure I get my extra.
Aaron. Aaron. No, I was just telling Aaron.
Aaron, why don't you stand by for
Can we follow each other? Right now,
Everyone's pointing out. Right now what?
right now Dion's on.
Yeah, I know.
Pero somebody was telling me that there's an allegation also that
It was Bagpipes. Water.
it was easy. I went to there's 10 conferences in Texas, 2 in New Mexico, 2 in Colorado, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma. And they gave me 2 minutes to talk about it. I said, all I need is 8 cents a month for every Methodist. 8 cents. $1 a year. Tom Manby. I sat right next to him and Senator John Estes. I want you to and that painting right there is still meaning this is something. I played in it. I was a 3-year varsity principal. You're able to still get into that.
Kind of.
I couldn't get into mine. I was going to wear it. And then my son, he was a 4-year golfer. He graduated at 16. So he liked the patina on the old one. So he said, Dad, let me just put my touches on it.
This one's when you graduate, you send you're off the college.
But when I came around, they just got this one.
I have 2 others that I want. I got to wear them for a while. But aren't those glad to see you? They killed them.
This is my lead wardrobe. And I love it. I have like 10 of you.
So, I came down here. This is
Well, there's a plan I have. So the plan is, you gotta, colors not a plan. You gotta plan it right. There's a trust. Every time you send someone a number here.
Better.
Good afternoon, lads and lasses. My name is Jocelyn Perez, and I am a student council officer and drum major of the Bel Air Band. It is my pleasure to welcome to you all this very special occasion. At this time, please stand for the presentation of colors presented by our Bel Air JROTC.
Colors. Right, right. Forward, march, left, 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 right, left, march, right, march, left, 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 other part, hold, left, right, freezer, arms.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Join me in a moment of silence. Now our Bel Air Choraleers will sing our alma mater, Where Winds Blow. I do ask if you do know the words, if you can sing along with us. We are taking this a little bit faster. So if you know the words, sing along with us. Please remain standing until our colors have exited.
Orders, arms, right, right, freezer, forward, march, left, left.
You may be seated. Thank you to our color guard and choir. It is my distinct honor to welcome some very special individuals. Board of Trustee, our Bel Air area, Mrs. Connie Woodruff. Board of Trustee for the Parkland area, Mr. Shane Haggerty. YSD Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Xavier De La Torre. Chief Human Capital Management Officer, Mrs. Bobby Russell Garcia. Director of Fine Arts, Mr. Scott Thorson. Assistant Director of Fine Arts, Mr. Brian Andrade. Now welcome Principal of Bel Air High School, Mr. Jake Marquera.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Big Red Pride. Welcome to Bel Air High School. It's with great enthusiasm, I welcome all of our alums from the class of 71-72. Welcome back home. As our motto says, we are loyal forever. I wanted to take a few moments just to, number one, showcase our beautiful building and to thank all the supporters for the 2015-2019 bond. We are very grateful and blessed to share these 21st century classrooms and buildings and learning spaces for our next generation of Highlanders. So thank you for all of your support. Today, it's a very special event in Highlander history, as our alumni have gathered today to show and demonstrate their support and in honoring our rich traditions here at Big Red Pride, particularly our pipe band. And I look forward to forging a very strong partnership with all of our alums as we start to deepen and bring back many long traditions here at Bel Air High School in our brand new learning space. At this time, I would like to hand the mic over to our Bel Air trustee, Ms. Connie Woodruff.
So I can't tell you how excited I am to be here. If you would have asked me a few months ago, actually a few years ago when the pandemic started, and we found out, which probably everyone knew, but we found out you really can't learn to play the bagpipe online. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen, especially in El Paso, Texas. I would think maybe in Scotland they could do that, but here in El Paso, Texas, this can't happen. And then kind of the fear set in because we felt like we were losing our bagpipe band. And the thing is that Bel Air High School can't lose the bagpipe band. Bel Air High School has to have that tradition. It has to continue. And I have to give so much credit to Mr. Valtierra for stepping up and really, really taking a firm interest. Every time I would talk to him, he'd tell me, this is where the bagpipe band is, this is what we're doing. And so I was able to share that in the community, and hopefully some of the fears were erased. But now, this next step from the people who started the traditions here in Bel Air High School, and that's all of you. You're the ones who put that firm tradition into place. For you that started it, you're going to see that tradition continue. And on top of that, we're going to be doing it in this brand new, state-of-the-art, modern learning environment, which is what our kids need today. And that's why it's so important. We've got to keep that strong tradition, but it's so important that we are able to provide them with the things that will help them in this 21st century environment. So I just want to say thank you to all of you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for everything you've done for Bel Air High School. And I hope this time that you get to spend together is the best ever. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Woodruff. Thank you for all of your support throughout the last 2 school years. We appreciate you. At this time, I would like to, with great honor, I do want to introduce our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Xavier De La Torre, to share a few words with us.
Good morning. Today is far less about me than it is about you. And Bel Air High School and the journey that started back in 2014 had 2 things in mind. One was that, well, we were going to reinvent the physical learning space because the old campus was a little old. But the second was that we could not lose any of the rich history, the traditions that have made this one of the most recognizable high schools in our region. Anywhere you go, anywhere in the city, everyone is aware of what Bel Air High School means, not just to the Isleta Independent School District, but to the city of El Paso in terms of recognition and having had so many great individual achievements. If you get a chance to go over to the sports complex, you'll see them prominently displayed, but also team and fine arts achievements over the years. So as the leader of the Isleta Independent School District for now 9 years, this is one of those schools that as I travel, I run into a lot of people and I get a lot of inquiries about how Bel Air High School is doing, and I promise you it's doing just fine. And today, with your generous support and generous donation, the Bagpipe program will not only remain, but it'll continue to grow, become a prominent piece of the fabric that makes up Bel Air High School. So thank you all for being here. It's great to see the class of 71, 72, and the class of 81, Sorry.
Class of 77, there's one piece out here.
Yeah! I graduated from 8th grade in 1977. Barely. Thank you all for being here. Let's have a great afternoon. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much, Dr. De La Torre. So folks, I did want to share one anecdote before we continue with our program. So yesterday I had an amazing experience while I was sitting in the admin conference room in Building A. Building A is our 3-story structure located right behind us, or actually in front of us here in the new cafeteria. And while we were meeting with our leadership team in the new conference room, right in back of the front office, all of a sudden our patterns completely broke, and we could hear the bagpipes entering the hallway. And what was happening was our instructor, Ms. Manning, who we're very grateful for all of her help throughout the last 2 years and many years before then, but during my tenure, she was practicing with our bagpipers. And it was a very exciting feeling to actually hear like the pipes in the hallway, for them to come out and to see like the kids getting excited and hearing out on what's going on as the bagpipes like did essentially their march down the main hallway in Building A. And they were practicing for today and coming into Building C and situating through the art classrooms and learning their routine. But my vision as principal, in a nutshell, my job is to merge all of the deep, rich traditions here at Big Red Pride at Delaware High School with this 21st century learning space. There is no doubt that pedagogy and academics have changed throughout the years, and we've all adapted, myself included, but we look forward to, of course, providing a top-tier education as we take one step further to becoming a National Blue Ribbon comprehensive high school here in El Paso, Texas, and the East Lake Independent School District. But in doing so, I am very conscious of how important the pillar of culture and tradition is here at Big Red Pride. And it goes beyond the pipe band, and I look forward to meeting and talking with a lot of you, because I need to learn. I need to learn and be a little more well-versed in a lot of the long-standing traditions so that I know how best to support our student body, our faculty and staff as we integrate that. But again, thank you very much for your support. Thank you for attending the event today, and we will move forward on our program.
Thank you, Mr. Bactera. And the reason we are here today are our Bel Air alumni. Please stand to be recognized. Thank you all for joining us today. Brazilian athlete Victor Belfort said, "Legacy is not what I did for myself, it is what I'm doing for the next generation." Our alumni have set the greatest example of this. They are truly loyal forever. Please welcome, from the class of 1971, Mr. John Watson.
Thank you for that introduction. Actually, this is going to be a really long afternoon. We started planning this a few months ago for this particular session. The plan was to pass the microphone to all the graduates, all the alumni. Give us your name, where you're from, when you graduate. We've been overwhelmed with this response, so I'm sorry to say we're not going to get to everybody. But I will recognize some special people here. There's a few other guests I want to recognize too. From the Atlanta School District's HR department, Bobby Garcia is here. Bobby? There you are. Thank you for coming. Yadira Escalera? Did I get that right? I'm going to butcher names, I know. From the communications department from the school district. And Tracy Garcia should be here as well, too. Tracy? She's over here someplace. There you are. Thanks for the help on that. And who else? Dr. Robert Munoz, the Bel Air 73 grad. Where are you, Robert? Thanks for coming. We appreciate you coming. There's a few other extra special people I wanted to introduce you to, starting with the best classes in Bel Air in history. The class of 71 and 72, who put together, hold on. We've got proof of that. We've got some money back here to prove that. So it's going to be a challenge for you guys. But the team got together when we started our 71 reunion planning 3.5 years ago, maybe more. COVID hit. I called Hector Silva from the class of 72 and said, "Hey, you want to save the website? You want to work together? And let's do a classic Highlander reunion for all classes, even if you identify as a classic Highlander." Don't have to be from the 60s or 70s. You can be from the 80s and 90s and 2000s. We have Linda, are you here? Linda from 2001, I think you graduated. She came to our reunion and helped celebrate with all the other classics. So you can be a classic anytime. Can I have the reunion team from 71, 72 stand up? Because they're basically why you're here today. Hector Silva and Sammy Martinez, who is kind of a legend in El Paso on the media side of things. He's been in media in El Paso since I was probably in first grade. Freshman. Appreciate it, guys. I think this celebration journey sums it all up right here. Basically, we started out as trying to do our 71st reunion for our 50th. Started in 2019, 2020, started planning. Things fell apart just before the October launch of that reunion. Thus, we started combining the 71, 72 reunion team. I would pull a plug in here, and you'll see at the end, we've got a reunion website. It really is built for all of you. So if you want to have a reunion, you want to reconnect with Highlanders, you want to share memories, memorials, we have a website available. To stay in touch, because I think it's important. I think you'll see that today. We discovered in this planning process when Hector and the 72ers and us got together and heard that the pipe band had been disbanded. And we were shocked. We said, that can't be. You got to have Bel Air with the pipe band or it's not Bel Air. Come to find out, it wasn't stopped completely. I think they struggled with numbers, and I think you got down, Marla, to maybe 4, 5, 6 members, but they were still piping away. So we decided, you know what, let's help them bring it back as best we can and make it even bigger and better than the days when John Estes was marching 50, 60 pipers, which was pretty huge. You can lie to me later, don't worry about it. Whatever the number is, it was big. And I always remembered it again. Friday afternoons, coming through the hallways, the pipe bands would wake up the students, and we march out to the stadium and have our pep rally. Fun times. So anyway, we started raising funds. The reunion team pulled together with donations, with sales of raffle tickets, and just people giving of their hearts and pocketbooks, raised about $3,000 today. We're over that. I'll give you a number here shortly, what it might be in the end. But thanks to all that effort and the reunion and the fun we had, we've raised over $3,000 from our sake. And then Richard Bailey, I've got to give him the credit for this today. Richard Bailey, I think, had a sidebar talk with Sammy Martinez at the reunion, and was so touched the fact that they were struggling to have the pipe band where they wanted to be. He personally donated $17,000 just to help the band. So I played in the band. I wasn't on the football team. I think, Sammy, you were playing football. Richard was the center, right? Richard was the center varsity football member. How you touch a football player to love bagpipes, I don't know. But he did it, and he donated out of his own pocket that much money. So we're here today in a large part because of Richard. So we appreciate that, Richard. Hopefully you're watching on live streaming, Richard, or on Zoom call. And appreciating a big round of applause for those guys. So with that in mind, we finished the fundraising, we finished the reunion, and we can't just leave it with that and give them a check. So we thought we'd put together an effort of trying to hear some of the stories. So we interviewed John Estes. We put a panel together, Sammy, a few others, Marla, Jake, and did an interview session back in January, and I learned a lot. And I must say that John, I think, had a good time putting this interview together and sharing some stories of the early days, of the traditions, and why we are Scottish at heart. And I think he summed it up in one comment, and John, that was, being Scottish is simply a state of mind. And I think if you walk the halls of Bel Air, all you students, you guys are Scottish, whether you like it or not. So enjoy it, embrace it, and become Scottish in your heart, and try to find ways to maybe get back to the school, because they're in a new beginning. New traditions are being started right now. And Jake is committed to holding on to some of those most important traditions that we grew up with all you guys out there. Before I move to John, I just want to, everybody stood up, and we're not going to pass the mic, but how many Bel Air grads are there here? Raise your hand. Most everybody's grad. I know we brought some athletic Indians with us, or Hispanic people. There were some people from another school here, but that's okay. You're also Scottish if you're in this room. I won't say anything like that. So real quickly, we're going to go through how many years. Anybody here from, oh gosh, I gave my years right, 2015 to 2021 or 2 out here? Anybody? We got one back there. 2010 to 2015 grads. Anybody? We got some classics in the room, that's guaranteed. So 2005, 2010. They're probably out low for 2000 to 2005, that range. Okay, now 95, 2000. I know we got a 97. Steve, our math teacher, and we got, okay. Where was I? 90 to 95. Got one back here, cool. And then he's still a Bel Air. He's definitely Scottish. Thank you. 85 to 90. In the back of the room, thank you. 80 to 85. One more. Okay, it's going to get good here shortly. 75 to 80s. 75 to 80s. Cool, welcome guys. 70 to 75 range. Cool. 70 to 75 or 74, whatever. There we go. 65 to 69. Sweet. Through plastic. 60s to 65s. Okay, now the important people. 50 to 59. I'm looking at my sister. Stand up, Patty. Stand up, Patty. She started Bel Air. She started Bel Air in 8th grade. So she was one of the first students here, and then she graduated in 63. So she went, when was the first graduating class? 61. 61. 63 grad, and valedictorian. My sister Sandy in 66 was salutatorian. And I graduated. I think that's, anybody else have any introductions you want to make? Hector, reunion team? Because I want to, yes?
John, we do have an Indian here.
We do have an Isleta Indian here.
6-year-old dad from Isleta, class of 44.
Is that? This is Debbie Long's dad. Debbie and I graduated together, 71. And I'm John Wilson. Good day. 44, but you went to Isleta.
There wasn't a
There's always hope.
Dr. De La Torre presenting him his high school diploma at an Isleta football game.
Jake down here presented Debbie Long's dad his diploma at a football game, right? Sorry. Superintendent. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said that was here. That's cool. That is cool. You went off to war, and we thank you for your service. As well as every other veteran out there, thank you so much for your service. So a lot of people, especially my wife, ask me this: why are you so committed to Bel Air? And I'd say it goes back to what John said in his interview. You're basically Scottish at heart and in your mind. Met a lot of people at Bel Air when I went from 67 to 71. Some of the teachers got me where I am today. Mrs. Fisk, I thought I was going to flunk math when I went into school. I was scared to death of not graduating. Mrs. Fisk made algebra make sense. I know there's other professors, Howard Chiplett, I was in the band, Howard Chiplett, and even a guy from Isleta, John Ferroni, gave me private lessons. John Ferroni and Chiplett got me the all-state trumpet, along with Kid Livingston. We can't hold that against him. And so there's a lot of teachers and a lot of people in many ways touched me at Bel Air. The one biggest thing probably was, I met my wife when I was a freshman at Bel Air. She was going to North Loop on a band run. Met her, she joined the pipe band as a freshman. And I think sophomore, she finally saw the light and went to the band. But that's why I think today I still am a little bit afraid of John Estes. If you were in band, and Hector and the band guys will attest to this, you were kind of fearful of John Mr. Estes, mainly because he was a disciplinarian. I thought he was always mad, pissed off. And I had no clue until probably a few months ago when I really got an appreciation for being Scottish and meeting John Estes and talking to him after 50 some odd years. Basically, I didn't know why I was always so fearful of him, but it was really any man that could take such an angry instrument and make it sound that beautiful has my respect and has respect of all the Highlanders that are here today. So with that in mind, I want to introduce John and let you take the mic and share a few memories, if you wouldn't mind.
Thank you so much. You're liable to make me cry. The early days, I need to hang on. The early days, the school song was Annie Laurie. The words were written by Roy Hickman, who was the band director. And I was told that when I came here in 1962. I stayed to 92, and I have a few things I want to give away. I'm getting elderly, or have been for a while. First thing, I would like to have our principal to come forward, and I'd like to present a presidential award from Gerald Ford. It was given to the pipe band in 1976. Gerald Ford was in town. They put a cement star in front of the federal building and filled it with gold marigolds for Gold Star mothers. And Steve Lacey was our principal, and he wanted this really bad. But Mary got one for Riverside, and I wouldn't let him have mine. We did the work. He sat up here in the office. So I'd like to present this to go in your trophy case or wherever. I notice you need a tablecloth. This is part of the first material from the uniforms from 1961 or 2, and those might remember I had a monkey suit with Marine Corps dark blue pants with a red stripe and a jacket made out of this. I lent it to Pete Romero when he won the state championship for cross country, and I never got it back. But I also outgrew it. So you can have that. Is this what you were talking about, Sammy? It's a coat of arms from the Hamilton clan, and it has the clan name, the clan motto, the clan badge, and in the background a swath of the clan tartan. And if you haven't heard, the clan tartan, Hamilton, is from Balmoral Castle. They were the keepers of the castle where the queen or the king spent their summer vacations in Scotland. And in 1963 or 4, we gave a program at Fort Bliss on the only snow day we had that year. And Mrs. Hamilton was the speaker for the officers' wives. And would you believe that Roy Chambliss made me make up that snow day even though I worked? You know, that's the way it goes when you have a boss. I'd like for you to have this. And then in the bag, I have some things for Marla and for Mr. Talamantes. There's some drum tutors and some information on how to do stuff that I'm cleaning out file cabinets, closets, briefcases, and so those things will work. Now, I also want to mention that a large group of my last class before all the pipers were mine, I want the class, the people of 65, who was Louise Little's last beginners, to all stand just so you can see that some of these folks are still following me around. While you're up, can we have all the ex-bagpipers that are here stand? Thank you. These people did all the work, and I got all the credit. And I still love them all. They're great folks. Anything you'd like, any questions? As I told someone, if I don't know the answer, I'll just make up something. Yes, Dolores?
I would like to share something with you. I hope I don't get too emotional. Mr. Estes used to take us. Mr. Estes used to take us to Holloman Air Force Base to perform for the servicemen. He would give a talk, and then we would perform. After that, they would have refreshments for us, and then after that, they would have a disco. And sometimes the little boys, they were little boys, they were a little older than we were. They would sit down and they would talk to us about their home, about their parents. Or we had a disco, they would ask us to dance. We would go out and dance. Now we look back and we discuss it, and we thank Mr. Estes because that time, it took away from them thinking about where they were headed. They might be headed to Vietnam. So thank you, Mr. Estes. You never give yourself credit for that. But you did that for us, for those young boys that were out there.
Thank you. They told me they would practically not speak too long, but I had a phone call this week from an ex-student, and she reminded me that I spend a lot of time with students instead of with my family. And you know, when you have somebody in a class for 4 years, you get to know them pretty well. And so they are family. And I love them all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Estes.
Football players over here. For us, from our time, when you're with Rio, when we're sitting in the locker room, and those pipes start playing, that would lead us onto the field. That's why it doesn't have to go with it. Can't.
So I'm going to call you John. Mr. Estes? John. It's taken me 50 years to get that down. And it took me 50 years to know what a good heart you are. Good son. And not a mean band director. I appreciate it so much. And if you guys haven't noticed, we do have a YouTube link, Bel Air. It's on the Bel Air website, I think you can get to it, or go to the YouTube channel. And there's about an hour-long video that John put together with some of our panel. Sammy, Jake, Mr. Talamantes, Marla, who else? A lot of guys helped put that together. I learned a lot of stuff about Bel Air I never knew, and it's well worth your time, I think, to go out there and listen to it. And again, John, we thank you for everything you've done for everybody at Bel Air. And keep that Scottish memory alive.
Great bunch of folks.
Amen. I lost a clicker. So I'm going to move to the next step. Hector, you're up. We've got some money to give away today, and I'm going to ask Hector Silva from the class of 72, sorry, Hector. No, that's not correct. He's going to present a check to Jake, whoever you want to take the money. If you got an account, I would probably give it to an accountant.
Don't give it to me. First of all, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Hector Silva, class of 72. People say that we lost our Bel Air, the building that we grew up in and had fun and flunked classes, passed classes. But we're standing on sacred grounds, and that's how I see it. We've got a new building, but it's the grounds that's sacred to us. It's sacred to me. The streets, the Hermosillo and the Yarboroughs and Venados and somebody else, that little block is sacred ground. That's Bel Air territory, and it'll always be. That'll never change. I'm so proud to be a Highlander, more so these last two years. Working with John, the class of 71 reunion, and especially hearing Mr. Estes' story, I am so damn proud to be a Highlander. And I thank Mr. Estes for that. And you weren't that mean man right there. I'll share a quick story and then I'll present the check though. But talking to a lot of the extras today and folks that I hadn't seen in a while, my cousin's in the crowd. Sylvia, give it. For Sylvia Fernandez. Stand up, please. She's my cousin. And so is Marla. But she said something to me that really touched me. She says, you know, we were treated bad by the band members. I go, really? I said, I don't think so. And she goes, oh yeah. So you didn't even acknowledge me that we were cousins. Oh my God, no, surely not. She's my cousin, and I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of Marla. I'm so proud of all my cousins that went to Bel Air with me. They set a rich tradition also, so I thank you very much, and forgive me if I showed that to you all. We are so proud today to present the first check. As John had mentioned, we had worked really hard in putting this reunion together, and when John and I decided to combine the class of 71 and 72, it was a win-win for both sides. But more importantly, it was a win for Bel Air High School. Our extras came through, not only by attending the reunion, which was a great reunion, folks, but helping us with the monies that we're going to present today. It is my pleasure from the class of 71, 72, and all the exes that went to our reunion to present this check for $3,000 to the Bel Air Pipe Band. And we hope that this tradition will continue and will never die. I'd like to Natasha to say something.
Thank you so much. I'm Marla Manning. I am the illustrious pipe band consultant, used to be director, and consultant. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone that has been throughout the years helping the pipe band, all of the alumni, the administrations throughout the years, and especially now in the present with Mr. Balzera at the helm. And I want to thank everyone. Thank you so much.
On behalf of Bel Air High School administration, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for this generous donation. It was a real pleasure. I believe we started back in May. First meeting Mr. Silva, Mr. Martinez, Mr. Watson, and inviting them here to Big Red Pride and starting to plan like some events that we were going to enjoy in September that was going to be linked to our homecoming. And that really does encapsulate my vision for Bel Air High School. And that is merging the rich, deep traditions of the past with our brand new 21st century learning space as we march forward together. So thank you very much.
Wow. I had a principal call me Mr. Silva. Last time I was called Mr. Civil by Mr. Chan was up some trouble. So this is a totally different concept here. To the present students at Bel Air High School, enjoy it. This is your fun time. These are your memories. These are something that these memories will hold on you the rest of your life, believe me. I'm proud to be called the Bel Air Homelander. Adelante. Thank you.
So we have a second check, as I mentioned before. Richard Daly could not be here today, but Sammy is going to present that for Richard. So Sammy, if you want to come up. And this is the real money.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sammy Martinez from the class of 71. Just to let you know how rich Bel Air tradition is in my family. We are now up to 3 generation Martinezes that have come to Bel Air. And something that Coach Scoggins didn't know until we met. I was a running back at Bel Air for your football players that were here. And my son Samuel was a running back, and now my grandson is a current running back here at Bel Air. So that's how rich the Bel Air fever runs in my family. And in 1967, I started my career in radio. I was a freshman here at Bel Air when I started in radio part-time. I saw it as a hobby, but along the way, a lot of the teachers that would hear me on the weekends really encouraged me, and I never thought that 55 years later, I would still have this voice. I might not have the looks, but I have the voice. And I still get called a lot to do both English and Spanish, what we call spots in the media business. Let me tell you a little bit about Richard. Richard and I played 4 years of football here at Bel Air. Richard started at North Loop School in 1959 all the way through 1967. In 67, he was a freshman here at Bel Air and graduated in 71 and attended UTEP from 1971 to 1975. And from talking to Richard, he actually got a degree in mass communication. And he said he tried being a radio announcer, but he said, I couldn't be as good as Sam, so he gave it up and went into the jewelry business part-time. Then he moved away from El Paso in 1976 to work in the jewelry business in 11 states over the next 42 years. He retired in 2013. He's traveled the world from 2013 to 2020. He said that when he was in the jewelry business, he started out as a stock boy, moved up to repairs, design jewelry, and then next went to sales and then management. And that's when he began to travel the world. He's actually traveled to 24 countries so far. Now in his retirement, he likes to ski, snowshoeing, motorcycling, hiking, kayaking, golf, woodwork, ceramics, leatherwork. And I asked Richard, I said, hey, well, you know, I knew him from football. And by the way, as a running back, he was a good blocker. So I wouldn't get creamed. So you linemen out there are very important for the backfield, okay, guys? So take care of Zach for me. And so here at Bel Air, he played football and track. He was in the Letterman's Club. We were in the Letterman's Club. And he was an all-district center for the district. He said the favorite things he liked about Bel Air was metalwork, leatherwork, woodwork, jewelry making, electronics, ceramics, all the electives. Isn't that cool? But he did say he liked math, so I guess, you know, with this kind of money. And let me tell you, Richard and I started working on this dollar amount in September, and it was almost a full-time job for me, because I had to talk to his attorneys, to his financial advisors, and we kept going back and forth. And at one point, we thought we were going to I thought he was going to pull the plug, because his advisors advised him that Bel Air was not a 501c3 organization, so he couldn't take it off as a tax write-off. So going back and forth, and then Mr. Alguera was very instrumental in talking to the board. And then Richard finally came back and said, you know what, I'm changing the word donation to a gift. Now, I'm not an expert in taxes, but I don't know if the word gift kind of gave him a break there, but definitely he came through, and then it finally went to the board, and then the board approved it. And Mr. Valguera and I have been talking, we're trying to work on how, because there's a lot of individuals that have approached me, and I guess because they know me from the media, and we're trying to see what we can possibly do in the future so that we can organize to make it 501, because there was a lot of individuals that were willing to add to this amount, but when they found out that it was not a 501c3 organization, you know, a lot of individuals kind of took a step backwards. But, so now you know a little bit about Richard. Richard, if you're listening, you know, thank you very much on behalf of all of us, like they say here. Thank you very much, y muchas gracias. And Mr. Valguera, if you can come forward. It also weighs 17,000 pounds. So here's a check, $17,088 on behalf of Richard Bailey, graduate of the class of 1971.
Sammy, thank you. Thank you much. Richard, if you're listening, thank you again, buddy. I would add one thing. The $3,000 check actually was some more donations since we first printed the check, thanks to Patty. I think we're about $3,300, maybe $3,500. Sorry. So the money, it's well over $20,000. So we're thrilled to be here to give you that money, and hopefully it will help with the traditions of keeping the bagpipes alive and bringing them back bigger and better. I'm going to move to the next section. We have one other special Highlander that did something for the reunion that we want to recognize and also present this to Bel Air. Alfredo de la Cruz, are you up here? And Sammy, you want to come back? Alfredo de la Cruz in the back waving his hands. He's our artist that painted the painting of the old Bel Air. Alfredo, can you come up here, please?
Well, stand up, Alfredo, so people know who you are. Let me tell you a little bit about Alfredo. Alfredo is my childhood friend. We grew up in Ranchland, very competitive in PE, and I think that was one of his favorite subjects was physical education, because he outran and outplayed everybody. Especially back in those days, there was no soccer. We played very little soccer, not like they have leagues now. He was one of the best soccer players, so everybody wanted him to play on that team during PE. But Alfredo is a Vietnam veteran, and while in the United States Army, he also served in Korea before coming back to El Paso. Alfredo is a self-taught artist. He never took anything or any classes professionally. And he actually drew this painting, and he drew brick by brick by brick. I had no idea, because I kind of followed. I'd go check up on the painting, and I said, boy, that takes a lot of patience. Here at Bel Air, he did take art, but he said that the art teacher would always put him to teach the class because he had a better technique than she did. So he said that he enjoyed sharing what he knew with the other students. And then after, when he came out of the service, he did go to community college and took a little bit more classes on some technique. But other than that, that's his pastime. That's what he does. So, Mr. Valtierra, this painting is for the school, for you to put it in the main hallway.
Thank you very much, Mr. Martinez. Thank you, Mr. Watson, Mr. Silva. So again, pieces of this that are memorabilia that bring back the classic Bel Air High School, the original building where so many deep memories were saved. And I know that we have new structures standing upon that ground. But again, we will take care of this. We will make sure that it is displayed for all to enjoy so that we do remember and honor the traditions and memories of the past. Thank you very much.
Some individuals today want to know if there was a way to get a reprint or a picture or something, and we'll work on that. You know, we'll try to figure out something. The other thing,
before we do that, I just got to make a comment too. This painting was awarded to Star Martin, class of '73. Her last name is Freeman now. So actually, Star's husband, Mike Freeman, actually won the painting. He is from Isleta. But they went ahead, they had this frame, so I want to give credit to the Freemans for actually redonating this painting back to Bel Air where it properly should be, and not in some Isleta High School graduate's house. So I want to make sure that Star say a prayer for her. She wasn't able to be here today, but thank you guys for donating this back to us. And Sammy's got one other thing I think that
okay, so I have another presentation. Can you help me move this over to the center? Right here. Alfredo also wanted to paint this painting for Mr. Valtierra, for his office, for him, for all the work he has done in making our reunion and collecting these funds, these gifts for Bel Air. And this is a picture of Bel Air at night. So, enjoy.
Alfredo, thank you so much for all your talent.
Alfredo, thank you very much. Y muchas gracias.
So, we have celebrated Bagpipes, and we thank Mr. Estes, all the graduates. The rest of this afternoon, I think we're geared up right now for a little closing from Jake, because I do think we're going to have on the schedule a tour of Bel Air. Some of you guys that have not seen some of the facilities will have some time for that. But we wanted to turn this over back to Jake and close us out.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wilson. So folks, I would want to introduce our Director of Bands, Mr. Manny Talamantes, and also our pipe band instructor, Ms. Marla Manning, if they could please come up to the podium. They do want to share some thoughts and their vision of the pipe band going forward, and talk to us a little bit about the current history of our pipe band. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mr. Manny Talamantes. I'm the Director of Bands here at Bel Air High School, also a Bel Air alum. So welcome back to Bel Air High School, loyal forever. One thing that I do want to share with you is a little story about my mom and myself. The pipe band, they were looking for a pipe band instructor. I was a band director here at Bel Air High School. My mom literally told me, the pipe band better not die. We understand each other? Yes, ma'am. Okay, so the band inherited the pipe band, and we kept on going, and I just want to be here, and I want to thank Mr. Estes. Mr. Estes, thank you so much for all those years and contribution to Bel Air High School and keeping the pipe band, making the pipe band what it was. But right now, I want to thank Ms. Marla Manning for saving us all these years. Ms. Manning, one more time, please, give me a round of applause for Ms. Marla Manning. Miss Manning, I don't know where we'd be at. So I want to thank God for bringing Miss Manning into our path here at Bel Air High School. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, we will be going forward with Bel Air High School pipe band, okay? And it'll be in good hands. Miss Manning and myself have had conversations, and we've had conversations on, we can't let this die, right, Miss Manning? There's no way we will let this die. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming out. Mr. Watson and everybody who contributed, thank you so much. Thank you very much. And once again, welcome back to Bel Air High School, loyal forever, Big Red Pride.
Thank you, Mr. T. I am from the past. I am definitely from Bel Air Pipe Band past. My first director was Mr. Estes, and I'd like to thank Mr. Estes for keeping the pipe band all these years. You impacted my life and set me on a course that would have never happened had you never chosen to come with your wife to El Paso, Texas, with your 2 kids, and you decided to stay and teach the pipe band. So I'd like to thank you for that. I would also like to thank my sisters who were in the pipe band. I have one sister right here. And I thought that every high school had a pipe band. I was 6 years old and the pipe band would come down at Hermosillo every, homecoming or whatever. They were practicing for the Thanksgiving parade. And naturally, I thought I was going to be in the pipe band. And I did. So it was very natural for me. And then I suddenly discovered there is no pipe band within 400-mile radius of El Paso. And so it was a very special thing when I think alumni, they don't really appreciate the pipe band until they go out into the world and then they say, we had something really special and unique with the pipe band. And we mustn't forget that all of those things integrate together because the football team, the pipe band was there. There was a reason to be out there on the field to welcome the football players. We have the cheerleaders, they root for us now out on the football field. They dance to Highland Green with all the dancers. And so there's a complete support network together, and I love seeing that. And I've seen it throughout the years when I was in pipe band, when I started working here and helping keep the pipe band alive. And I'd also like to thank Mr. T for helping me working all these years together. Mr. T, how long has it been? I don't know, yeah, it's been a long time. So, I don't know, 20 years. So anyway, from the present on, our vision is to grow the pipe band and to get it back to where it is big. When I was in the pipe band, there was 35 pipers, there was 20 drummers, and who knows how many dancers there were that Mr. Estes had in the freshman class. And so that is where I come from, and I'd like to see that again. And if I can help in any way, I am there for it. And so I like to thank all of you, the alumni and past administration, present administration, and everybody that has been involved at the school, that we have made it to this point in our life, and it's only going to get better for the Bel Air Pipe Band and every organization here. Thank you.
So a couple new announcements. We're going to flip the program a little bit. We're going to go right to the reception following this and not do the tour first. So hopefully that's okay. You'll stay a little warmer for a little longer. And we'll do, is that okay? Does that work for you? And so that's where we are in the program. I do want to thank again our reunion team. There's all the guys that helped us kind of put together a reunion, 71, 72. A lot of work went into it. Hopefully you recognize some of those names. Thank you guys. It was a great time doing this. Again, I want to thank Richard Daly. Richard, you helped get us over that $20,000 mark. We appreciate it very much. And thanks to a huge amount of support from the community, from Bel Air, from businesses. People just pitched in and helped our reunion get over the hump and make some money and brought us today where we are with our $20,000 donations to Bel Air's Pipe Band, making it bigger and better. So thank you guys, thank all the sponsors. And the last thing I'll leave it with you on today is I have a feeling that this needs to be an annual celebration of bagpipes. So maybe it doesn't have to be this, but I think we should probably think about seeing and hearing more bagpipes around Bel Air. I'm even thinking Highland Games. If you come to St. George, Utah, you guys come to St. George, Utah, I think it's April, we have the Highland Games there. So you can learn some new athletic skills, throwing logs and bales of hay and hammers. And if you're truly Scottish at heart, I think the football team better get practicing on their Highland Games and skill sets so we can have an annual event out of all this. But with that in mind, I think I'm going to close this out and just leave one maybe comment for the current students. 50 years goes by pretty fast. Enjoy your time here at Bel Air, learn a lot, make the best out of your careers and give back, and I think you're going to look back and see some, and have some pretty fond memories of Bel Air. So thank you all for coming. We're going to do the reception next, and then we'll move to the tours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Watson. So we will be, members of administration, also members of our student council will be heading the tours, and we'll separate our alums into several groups. We will...
Sorry guys, I messed up one. We have one presentation. We have a brick from Bel Air, and by the way, bricks are for sale, right? Can they still buy bricks? Okay. So before we move to the reception, just wanted to say, if you want to purchase a brick and donate some money back to Bel Air, there are some of the old bricks from the original school that can be purchased. So we do want to present one, since Alfredo spent a lot of time painting bricks. We're going to give him back a brick. We got one over here? Alfredo, you need to stand up now, please. Thank you, Alfredo.
Again, everyone, thank you very much for coming to Big Red Pride to Bel Air High School. We appreciate all your support. So in terms of the tours, let's start the reception. Please know that our current Highlanders are going to be released from school in 25 minutes. So let's let all the student body go ahead and move on to extracurricular activities, and some load up on the buses, others parents pick them up, and then we will start the tours. Of course, we'll do Building C, which is the building we're currently in. We have GROTC at the bottom, art classrooms to your left. Building A is our 3-story structure. That's where the majority of our brand new classrooms are located. We will tour all 3 levels. And also Building B, which is right in front of us. That is our old cafeteria that was renovated and now houses all of our career and technical education courses, to include law enforcement and fashion design. So thank you for your patience. Please enjoy the reception. And again, thank you for coming to Big Red Pride.